Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Wąŕᶇing, President of Gabon, and I'm to send a message to all the friends that we have all over the world to tell them to make noise, For the people here have arrested me and my family. My son is somewhere, my wife is in another place, and I'm at the residence. Right now, I'm at the residence and nothing is happening. I don't know what's going on. So I'm calling you to make noise, really. I'm thanking you. Thank you. I'm Wąŕᶇing, President of Gabon, and I'm to send a message to all the friends that we have all over the world to tell them to make noise, For the people here have arrested me and my family. My son is somewhere, my wife is in another place, and I'm at the residence. Right now, I'm at the residence and nothing is happening. I don't know what's going on. So I'm calling you to make noise, really.
So that is Ali Bongo for you. I say, baby obia no more making noise na. Anapai what's their cause so our Gabon. There has been a military intervention our Gabon. Amidst Saturday and Cosbebre, Ecowas, AU and the international communities and condemn what happened in Niger quite recently. I think this particular issue no yenyan resolve crime yet. But amidst of it there is another coup I see Africa and a babedri. People are gradually getting tired of various political establishment kwanya faso sebi yet to no people are losing faith in the African version of democracy. For years, and my culture say Africa, we are not even practicing democracy. People have just adopted a convenient aspect of it and you roll it out in a manner a serve on more interest. But none of these guys you see and a democratic. Ali Bongo in Gabon situation is similar to places like Togo with the Yadema family, same as Uganda with Museveni, same as Cameroon with Paul Biya. These people have been in power for decades, and to them the presidency a family inheritance, and they do always do whatever it takes to capture political power just to ensure that particular family dynasty will continue. This Ali Bongo ya uhune ne papa ene Omar Bongo, former Gabonese president who ruled Gabon for almost 42 good years. Omar Bongo aneba ene Ali Bongo ne papa ruled Gabon for 42 good years. 2009 ye no ena yesan de ne ba yesi ekoto about 2009 ena ne ba no ba ye wako first term wako second term asan third term. So you see scenario ni circumstances na AC no, we really need to understand it. I'm coming. So we have situation na AC ewo Gabon na sa netie wafa akonwa ne say ya abusuan japade ne papa na ebedi so no wowu na abedru ne so he feels that he can just do anything and my culture says oh hair kuna echo ewo West Africa hana ewo sa bushfire effect. Arab Spring next started ewo Middle East, that is how it started. Countries ebi or ha omunyo mwadwen says such an intervention be appropriate, but when people feel so repressed to that extent, no muhu say omunuye binom I use violence means a trigger changer, then it becomes necessary for another group of people to also replicate same, because after all they are under similar oppression, because the very opportunities as a democracy a serve for Nipano, we are not getting it, especially in Africa, because the BMC say the most essential aspect of democracy in the world, say nipa bia betimi attain economic dignity, ye fenso betimi achieve some economic decency bi na anya hwe de obedie de obehye de wonkosere na obeye self sufficient at least so wuntimi nya japade ntoto niema bebra anya de obedi anya de obeda ena enye se wo yare abako hospital. But look at Africa, our so-called this democracy ayete huin hweninsunsanso. To these guys some like religion, politics here is like a cult. So certain people feel that they feel entitled. The whole government and they have the power to rule. So all of us, we are just in servitude. All that we are supposed to do is to sing praises all to the glory of people who have managed to capture political power. But these people do not care about the interests of the people. That is the typical African politician. Across Africa, about 85% of politicians in Africa will be that has never crossed their mind. It is about sustaining themselves at the top. That is all that power is about. In Ghana is the same thing. Mr. Politicians are more Africa, including Ghana. So what's the see about 90%. And your mwadwen that say obi wo form boano son and sa creative. No. That is never. But they are just using people as tools. They see you as an instrument. No use you just to give himself certain lifeline. But unfortunately for all these people with such orientation, you see, politics at this time is gradually changing. The orientation today is different, and the young ones are coming to the full realization. Say, akomyadi or mind die no enye se we na wanyini na wona wodim nyansa na yesay. State belongs to everybody, and we all have equal stake. So if you are gaining or cashing on the system, another person must also cash on the same system. So in order to solve everything, create a certain enabling economic environment that say maybe but look at the block of democracy saying. So obi bedi akomya, the very people he appoint give them power. No, suddenly my life says because it has never been about never in Africa. It is never about serving people. That is never. It's never part of the playbook so far as politics is concerned in our part of the world. Or baby diuso, a diuso, a tenauso, amawaya kwa, amana, chonfoma, and so dispose you. They just dispose you. They don't care about whether you have talent, they don't care. That is the concept that but fortunately for me say because of a new media people are becoming conscious, people are becoming awakening, and they've started questioning. Say, if you do comparative analysis, now here what is in Africa, the resources that we have as compared to other countries, the question will be said, then why are we poor? Why are people living good in stuff? Because if you come to Africa, even the kind of cars politicians drive all those V8 brand new. Like in Europe, they don't even have access to those things. In America, they don't even drive such expensive cars. But those cars the following day you see them in Africa. You born a watch it me a see school die a hold of bear your friend is the Emma among for mutin reasi in your school. So if I tell you politics in our part of the world, it's never about serving human beings. You need to understand. It is never about serving anybody. They have no interest in coming to serve anybody. So now that awareness drew a level where people are becoming quite conscious. And nuntina, so we hear some of the videos now. Your friends say trended and then so Gabona Kuno Asiawieno. Then the people took to the street and your friend is saying more demonstrating for so because nipa no atena hwa hu say system na ewo ho no is a corrupt regime it give prominence to few people who have captured political power no and omu see governance no as a family business because that is the trend. Ali Bongo ne papa ne bedi ye Oma Bongo for almost 42 good years. They made sure say they will repress every state institution, kill all dissent, just to ensure say no force will emerge and that counter the power that they wield. So I know that they become an authority. That is why he was able to maneuver his way through the entire years and even after his death. Because he has placed corrupt people at the various way, they manage to ensure that the Ba will continue the dynasty. So we may sit here and talk against coup, but if you look at the circumstances that are giving rise to the many military interventions in Africa within the context of the people, and they are being justified because all the countries now, you see people in a jubilant mood, the youth on the country, the fool say, there has been economic relief. You have certain relief as to whether the prospect, that is another thing. But the mere fact that people are out there celebrating, jubilating, women carrying soldiers, show how frustrated the people are. And Gabon situation I see, I think that is a bit different from all other coups I see, because with this particular thing, come after an election, just like what happened in Nigeria. And with this Nigeria election where you know the Samre no not sa kuwe a started and such so intense and that bushfire effect in spread it to her and my tenny budden as if on Casamre and Kayasam for into elections now a course so our Gabon quite recently Ali Bongo at the air shane term no. According to even international observers, they felt that the elections were flop. The military nankasa weren't happy. It is an opaiuti statement on the trouble. They made it quite clear that elections now Ali Bongo are declared no win no. They don't trust that particular offensive resource. Because Ochake sat there a year back and forth and seminal course now. Do you know what he did? They shut down saying or more internet access in the whole of Gabon. sebe ya unyo opportunity enko social media enko chro say na ye wi elections so we did na se for so from Saturday till na and run up na internet access in Gabon shut down internet nya adwuma enti say Twitter was a hion kasa higher ti ayekasa yi there is no space for you to even air banyansa nipa nim ni say ansem me nipa and you repress them, you don't allow them to ventilate, and they give rise to some of these incursions na uhuno. So electoral misunderstanding, an attempt to say yeah because what can two terms are we about saying and a third term. What can two term are we about saying and a third term. And at that third term no so no and yes or when convincing law ye pie ni pants umpo ya when that kind of attitude no and or their capture police power and also because he has corrupt generals, corrupt people around him who will do everything possible to ensure say ye the better na kunwa no so and se see ahwe no ho ya mobo president owo to me on na soldier for di nachi otia hey no bi ada form no ohu no ya ye mobo.
I'm thanking you. Thank you. I'm Ali Bongo Ondimba, President of Gabon, and I'm to send a message to all the friends that we have all over the world to tell them to make noise for the people.
So he said make noise. But these people, these corrupt despots, whenever they are in power, they feel so enlightened, emboldened, so all powerful. Say, what the ordinary person, no, but Makacha say, nipa daseni in your lowest moment, no, then the whole you understand. Say, to me, a power ne those waiting, you know, they are just accessories. The real person on that hono. To me, everything they are all accessories. So don't get power and use it as an instrument to oppress people because we get then power not the better form. Now what the to form bar? Real way. That is the state. And then all powerful president send out to them on to me Bontio and all your video begging people say me pamacho mom pacho mame me yere me hu me yere me ba ya fana de neko baby ya busi na busi ano ya shada titi o muntem. You can so at the end of the day no you will be depressed. That is the kind of state he's in. And so what military no statement no maye and na their coup no I think it's a bit different from their course of Mali Burkina anyway no because there is no indication Assad now no kwa no omunyanyi nipa obe lead because they said they will form a transition democracy and they will make sure say they continue unlike Mali and other places no so now no they don't even have who is leading, who is the coup we are all leading. So the military generals now are going to sit down, form some kind of a team, even making sure say democratic line no ye betimi a form government be na anase ye be nhyehyeye na ya to aba just to ensure say power now in the last 52 to 56 years. Come on, Africa Akuffo ne ba atimi atena konwa so for almost 52 to 54 good years and the country is doing no better. The international community Ecowas na mo kra de Ecowas o join it AU ne na se for nobody has been able to say no the situation there no abroso. That is why I keep telling people, say, don't blame democracy for being responsible for happenings in Africa because some of these countries are not democratic in the first place. They are not. Again, the dividends that we are meant to get from democracy, are we getting it? Because human dignity is key, but economically, if you are not empowered, how can you even yourself your fences that dignity Poverty has become a deliberate political tool, spread it just to impoverish everybody across all levels. Poverty no go adiem na yenam and ye tugu just to render people poor. Because when they become poor, that is the point we can control them. It's the reason why people are falling for some of these cool thing. Afuna manfo. And all these happenings are in French colonies. Gabon, another French colony. Another French colony. So 2 million na yensaka ye no. Ene nhihye ne nasefo a egu ho. The relationship with France ne nasefo no ma enya a negative effect or negative impact on the economy, no, as a leader, because he is benefiting, he doesn't even care, because the system is quite rewarding enough. Say no hotono na se nipa ne hiomo after all, I don't care. He doesn't care. That is the real deal in our part of the world. Enti ene a soldier for in Gabon, amidst of all the discussion going on, threat from Ecowas, AU intervention, international community, today here we are. Amidst of it, they are calling everybody's bluff, seize power. Those regional blocks that were around, being it Ecowas, being it AU, they don't give a damn. Nobody even regard them. They don't even exist. The last time na me catch us answer na Ecowas and AU, among for before more serious when it comes to some of these things. Your friend is saying, me sanction or no, something is quite scary now. So if I do something, Ecowas or me sanction me, I don't know the impact. What is the economic might of Ecowas? What is the economic might of AU? Those countries in the Camboma. And say if a country is not even a member, they no lose, because as we speak, Cameroon close to us, or he's not part of it. This Gabon way that has decided not to join Ecowas. So with such intervention, it will be very difficult for even Ecowas to say anything because they are not part of it. Another Pobia in Cameroon, who has been in power for since 1982, 1986 thereabout, the guy, he's not part of it. And Obi woman ababa betwaso. So make a same way just to bring us to a point to say kuna yamubinum yansusoso yamfuaso, and I will never advocate for that. But we need to sit down and look at the triggering factors, the predisposing factors, the risk factors. We are aware some of the circumstances. You take a cue from this Gabon situation. Electoral misunderstanding. You see, the people, they didn't even care about the fact, say, constitution, or according to second term or another third term. Then as for people didn't care much about that one. The major concern was the integrity of the 2023 elections. People felt that it was fraud. And in order to find an amicable way of resolving the situation, the government, out of pride, decided, let's shut down the internet. And they shut down the internet. Amidst of it, and the military do say, oh, come on, enough is enough. The last time my culture said electoral misunderstanding are turning Africa into a graveyard. And mirror situation back to our settings here in Ghana. I think we face similar challenge going into the 2024 elections. Because if you look at the frame around the Electoral Commission and the posture, the attitude, certain commentary, and even the posturing of the president, so far as the Electoral Commission is concerned, and the question you should be asking ourselves is, are they reliable enough? Among for repose to trust and confidence in the institution, say in event via election 2024 no bar, people will really accept the electoral results, because the Electoral Commission is key in defining some of these things. So if we've gotten to a point where the Electoral Commission is trying to find a way just to ensure say certain individuals will not have access to register. Amidst of all these challenges, you know, we are doing our best to share say so unkura Ghana card won't even go register as a Ghanaian. When the constitution says otherwise. Young Kasa trying to put impediment on people's way. Nipa, he has that inherent constitutional right. So undecided once he's 18 and saying, you know, Electoral Commission is trying to find a way just to take those things away from people. At the end of the day, you know, you create a sense of insecurity around the elections. And anything be untoward, be already in frustration, not failure with Nipa. That is exactly what happened in Gabon. Because people no free say they've been oppressed for quite so long. Things has been happening. But amidst of all that, no, we've been quiet. But with this election, that is our future, that's our destiny. We are not going to sit here for you to use us. We are just pawns on your chess game. Or the baby I get away. People would not, they will resist. With the recent registration process here, you roll out, it's the same line. It has been back and forth. Ukra passport, they need to guarantee a whole lot. But the tension that is brewing in this particular country, you know, should inform us enough to know, say no, land is very dangerous, and we need to take certain steps to ensure that we don't infuriate people, no, the more. Because Ghana is not immune from happenings here, and again at the same time, I'm dwelling on the Electoral Commission because electoral integrity and I'm for issue our Gabon I give rise to this particular situation because the opposition parties say among recognize it, even observer groups on by even the military and several civil society organizations within Gabon spoke, said no, with this election there a fraud, but the government insists all power and they were declaring we seem to be in a situation that we are mirroring the same thing here in Ghana, especially when you have a president who is supposed to be very reasonable, a supposed human rights lawyer, somebody who had vast pool of experience, somebody who has been around, he understands politics, actors around politics, governance, and actors that comes with governance. Looking at how delicate and how fragile the Electoral Commission in terms of integrity look at this particular time, you know, what will be the motivation of the president to go ahead and appoint people known to be partisan individuals? Say yanko head the Electoral Commission. So you see, gradually, you know, we are building a very solid foundation for future crisis. A very solid foundation. I bet me enough trigger for violence to be unleashed in this country. Because you can go into the elections, people will genuinely lose the elections, but because you have already created doubt, and those doubts are cemented on the minds of people, no, then they will begin to revolt, they will repel. No, even though you're losing there, but it's because this person. So you don't create such situations. Unfortunately, no, people don't see anything wrong with these things. Quite recently, I'm told the Council of State, they see absolutely nothing wrong with the move by the president. Say, appointing somebody and with the known partisan ties because the president on the right. Then I wonder, say, the kind of people these guys are. Already know. I am part of those who have been advocating, say, even that Council of State, it is the most useless state institution. The most useless, emphasis will be in this. Even the composition, makes it worse. Former Chief Justice, former Army Defense Staff, no wine, Obi Chief Justice, Obako, we know a dim 70. at that age or no ankasa or battle when the demons and the other stuff no adwen ben no kwakwa kire akutu president for na futu know how binding it is. So it's a useless entity that must be slashed in the future. At least acquire young people who are quite innovative with these innovative ideas, who can dive into other arenas. So some panimfono crowd be bad, then they subject those things to the modern terrain. And Sanaya implement here. But it's the same old people at the corridors of power meeting another old cabals. Meeting at the end of the day, it is about the incentives. They don't care about it. There will be a few days to die. They don't care about anything. And these are people we have entrusted our destiny into their hands, and they are fooling around power. So the repercussions, you know, a bit and a within the African countries. Not that people are not mad, because enlightenment, the crowd to the extent said that ordinary the African youth, you know, are becoming gradually, you know, quite enlightened, as opposed to politics via social media, via other platforms. So you cannot say people are ignorant, people are uneducated. Even the any opportunity anchor classroom crown and exposed to social media and other stuff, you know, people are becoming quite aware of happenings. And you cannot see anybody as a fool anymore. Yes, some are refusing to think, some are refusing to use their brain, but the reality remains that the vast majority of the people are now getting exposed to information. Today I was quite shocked. Abraham post to adio social media Abraham Kuno SEO your friend is saying Gabon, and then I added so sad. Oh, Africa, it is so sad. The comments were quite interesting. People didn't even agree why I said Makasa is so sad. Ebinum class I delay. But you see, that feeling no should tell you how a man for see the establishment to be. People are frustrated. And at this point, the single preoccupation should be aimed at making sure say some economic interventions will be rolled out. At least nipa benye bibiaye. That is what you do. That is what you do. Nipa benye bibiaye. But not our part of the world. And yeah, nobody cares. Nobody gives a damn about what you to be. So when you jumanya. That is why there has been this massive support for the many military interventions going on in Africa. So the question will be say, Africa, is it a rediscovery? Yeah, rediscover your home. Now aftermath this school, no prospect net saying, you see, it's whole lot that we need to sit down and talk about. But maybe free say Ghana but be a fortunately for us, yenduru ho. And for quite some time now, so where coups na even some of the Anglophone countries, you know, Ukraine there, a bit distance kakra. Few countries, about I think Equatorial Guinea and one other country now, quite recent times, no more show those signs. But a lot of the your friend is saying Anglophone countries in there, we no crowd hosa. But that does not mean end to mean see. That is the point I want us to make. And it is a lesson for us. Say near mana aye precursor na ye titia so ye koba yemfa ni panya hwe. Say am no kasa for about a week in here. Look at how the average Ghanaian pay for internet in this country. An MTN network for the past 2 weeks in the Ottawa teko kra time no apenaba. But we have a minister of state who is supposed to ensure a service delivery to the people, no, a top notch, because people are being forced to pay for it. But nobody cares. Nobody cares. So you see, the awareness now raising on the part of the people, the consciousness, because I know social media, people are beginning to question the establishment, our ties with foreigners, how are your resources and as if are available, and how suddenly people get to the corridors of power and they fabulously become rich. They are beyond condemnation. They are man's word to themselves. Who describe it? So nipa no mo my mu na obey what say woody politics na chino. If you are not lucky, you become an instrument that will be used. Say order na hone na busu ya besi ye. Na one dey be to be there, he doesn't care. Element of greed. But ne African youth say no way. So at this point, the onus we no rely on various governments to say, but tenacia ye nema ye. And I say, you packed out. That is the only option left for us right at the moment. But if you turn around, you don't see any urgency, any sense of urgency on the part of government, on the part of anybody. It's business as usual. Youth unemployment quite rampant. Your friends say corruption in the crowd here, and the crowd are practicing with finesse. And amidst of all these challenges, elections, also how a man for air share Sikan and for, and some of the stories emerging from Bank of Ghana and for. You see, the state is insensitive to the plight of the people. So insensitive. I say, Otifie, na ya pamo school fees kura wunya skentua. Na wo papa wo sika ode sisa ema ede omoko restaurant de kobasa. You know very well he has the money, but he doesn't care about you. That is exactly what is happening in Ghana. Amidst of these challenges and difficulties here, Ghana for and some people are just trying to create certain impressions. Oh, let us try because it's global everywhere. Amidst of all these challenges, now better say yes, a Bank of Ghana, a timia tam over $250 million, or the kwakusi a dime. And ubi some foolish justification. The man say, your friend saying earthquake, tremors, a bar. And that means that diner buildings now are surrounding the people to Ghana. And since independence, we just don't care about the people. In the midst of all these things, the ordinary people, I'm a fan so because sir, Didi no moye no. Sir, we no moye no. A man for livelihood, and I sacrifice just to give a certain lifeline to government because a certain kind of and in crew for Tanazia who say you messy up, but they will not take responsibility. They want the ordinary, the poor person, the retiree now sabi what na juma several years or retirement, to bear the cost. They will not. That is the problem that we face. So Sanyama na the aggregation, and the trigger those things na one ya. Abano a beje wunsam na Akuffo Addo de akra dem ye so se ba bia ya duru ebia because said there was ya messy up neema no ebia ebia na wish by Ghana I can say ye guide no jealously for 1 year na aka no he will finish his term and go home. Now no ankasa nko face ni demons or tenase na ohwa ma na ohwe the legacy what leave behind. That's what to me. I can make attempts with himself. Then that is up to him. African leaders, na making sure that political power na the whole essence of political power is to ensure that we impact on others, not about properties in Nasafona. Make sure that your policies will go down to the people and influence among for life, socially, economically, it will have impact. Nipanya jumanye That is the most important thing. African youth, they are not asking for anything, or they are asking, say, you created the enabling environment, and where people themselves venture into what is the support. Because over the years, I've been telling you, say, quite recently, Guinea, Niger, in a single year, 2021, Ghana the over $31 million. $31 million and a koto jene. Sasikano ye de emu 21. Ema Niger we ya Niger 40 midua jene ma jene ni yeye. Ema Ghana fa $21 million ekɔ Niger sa koto jene abakroma sei. When we have lands, we have the human resource, we have what it takes to ensure say so that the money will stay here. But nobody will do that. Nobody will do that. So it's not as if said the avenues any hole or hot party yet. Because okra na even be free. And people who are into this business are people who are close to power. So the money, last time I catch you, so your friend is saying, your way na. To me, wealth is concentrated at the top, a pyramid like this. So when it's like this, few people can stay at the top. The vast majority.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.
Maneva na say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, o say dem yopo